According to the U.S. Navy's website, the Naval Amphibious Base on Coronado Island in San Diego was established in 1943. It's the only naval amphibious base on the West Coast and the only military building in the shape of a swastika symbol. What was the purpose of building it to this shape? Could Operation Paperclip, bringing German scientists to America, have anything to do with the shape or location of this building? Find out next on this episode of Decode Your Reality. And hello everyone, welcome once again. My name is Logan and this is Decode Your Reality. Today we're doing one on the naval base in San Diego, actually Coronado Island, the Naval Amphibious Base. This is the Naval Amphibious Base Decoded, and there's this very specific reason why I'm doing a presentation on this. Notice the swastika behind their logo, and for good reason. It's kind of resurfaced in the news lately. It's kind of interesting. I started researching this and I was actually blown away at the connections and the links to all this, and it just kind of stands to reason. Where's all this coming from and why? What is with the swastika? There's a building that's located down there on this base in the shape of a swastika, purposely done, and why is that? And if you've never seen this before, get ready, hold on to your seats, man. This is really interesting information. So the methods I use for my decoding, I use numerology, several different ciphers. I'm bringing science to measure using the atomic weights, which we can bring in to measure the spoken word through the spells that we speak. And then, of course, to get a picture of that, we use the ancient tarot system tied into those numbers. And then, of course, last but not least, common sense. It's actually free to use, but most people don't use it. Not you, but most people don't use common sense. Anyways, here's a news article that I found. Accidental giant Navy swastika building was no accident. The architect, John Mock, said we knew what it was going to look like. And then, of course, the Navy has basically said that it was built by accident. They didn't know. It's just a big debacle. It's really interesting about the he said, she said kind of stuff. They're supposed to have a budget of $600,000 to fix it. This was back in 2007 when Google Earth came out, and that's kind of where the shape kind of emerged. But it's really interesting where this news article is going. You got to read about this. I'll leave this in the descriptions, but this is really the Google Earth photograph from overhead, and obviously it's clear as day in the shape of a swastika. Now, let me digress and say, swastikas aren't necessarily a bad thing. We've been programmed to make them think that they're really bad because of the Nazi regime in Germany and whatnot, but it really has some esoteric aspects to it. The Indian system uses it, and it's really an old symbol, and there's a lot of links to it, and that's what we're going to get into. But here's another aerial photograph. I mean, clear as freaking day right there what it's in the shape of. And you got to think to yourself, man, who's the brains behind building this? And then there's going to be controversy and stuff. But here's another thing too. I don't know what these shapes are esoterically. Maybe I haven't really researched it, but they're definitely in the shape of something. Just haven't quite figured that out yet. Maybe you can fill us in on what you see, what you know. I'm not too quite sure. I haven't really researched that just yet. But anyway, here's the breakdown of the swastika using numerology and the tarot. And the word swastika equals the number 21. The word Saturn equals the number 21. And the world card in the tarot is the 21st card. Notice the four faces of God, which is talked about in Ezekiel 1 verses 10, the man, the lion, the ox, and the eagle. This is the world card, the all-powerful world card. And as of right now, I believe Jesus is the world card. Jesus is Saturn. That's kind of what I've researched so far. That could change, but so far that's kind of what I got. And that's why this symbol is so powerful. Swastika equals 21, just like Saturn. So it's tied to that, and it's drawing power, and very powerful number. I mean, Domino's Pizza, go look at their logo. See what numbers are on their little domino. It's the 1 and the 2. Anyway, if we look at this as numbers, it certainly looks like sevens, does it not? It certainly does. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sevens there, and 7, 7, 7, 7. If you add that up, equals the number 28. The word Lucifer, the light bringer, equals the number 28. And then, of course, if you take 7 and you do it 4 times in numerology, look at the outcome of this. It completely blew me away when I looked at it. In the English ordinal, 260, which matches the 26 of I am that I am. And of course, how fast did Marty McFly have to get the DeLorean up to in the Back to the Future movie? 88 miles an hour. And then, of course, last but not least, the biggest standout, in my opinion, it's the number 96. I've shown this over and over countless times, asking this artificial intelligence, how do you spell your name? You're getting the 96. The Tetragrammaton's 96 is its root chakra when you talk about chakra points. And last but not least, if it was the letter L's, it could be 4 L's there. Look at the numbers it gets, 33. 2 33s back to back. Really, really interesting there. 12, again, there's the 1, 2, the reversal of the 21. So really, really interesting tie-ins right there. Now, I'm bringing this in because this is a possibility of why they built this building down in San Diego and Coronado Island in the shape of a swastika due to Operation Paperclip. And if you don't know anything about it, I'll let you read it on your own, but it was when they brought the top Nazi scientists from Germany over to the United States, secretly brought them in. Werner von Braun was involved in the rocket team. It's just a lot of big names, but Operation Paperclip, I've decoded this before. It's kind of interesting. Who chose this name, and did they know that it equals the number 79? Because 79 is huge because it's the element gold. And then, of course, look at the double 96 in there, which I showed right here and tied to the swastika. 777796. Kind of interesting. That's why gold's so massive in the esoteric and whatnot. But did they sit there and choose this name on purpose, built on the Chaldean numerology system? I don't know, but I know this, that there's something of divine origin behind all of this, because there's no way man could do it alone. It's completely impossible. Now, the center for the Navy, the Commander Navy Installations Command, down in San Diego. Notice the Trident, Neptune's Trident, the Poseidon Trident. There it is right there. That's why the gum is called Trident, if you didn't know that. Anyway, look at what it comes out to in numerology. Commander Naval Installations Command ends up being the number 117, which is the number of time travel. It's amazing this equals that. Another standout, this has 33 letters. And, that ties into this, because here's the latitude, longitude of the swastika building, the Naval Amphibious Based in Coronado. The longitude of this location ends up being the number 117, tied into that right there. And how big is the 117? Well, it just so happens it's tied into the number 66, and I'm going to get into that. Now, if we measure this numeric string of pi, going 66 digits in, it ends up being the 117th digit of the numeric string. 117, 66. Now, why is 66 so important? Because your current Pope, Pope Francis, his birth name equals the number 66, just like Donald John Trump, the current president of the United States, equals the number 96. And 66. And keep in mind, Donald John equals the number 69, just like this dude right here. He's got the 96. 18 is the 9, 15 is the 6. Rather fascinating if you ask me. There it is right there. So that's the significance of the 117 and the 66. How about this? How about the phone number of the Naval Amphibious Base in Coronado? There it is right there. I didn't choose the number. Let's break it down using alchemy. 619 is the area code, and then you got your prefix and the number. 16, 14, 15, that would be sulfur, silicon, and phosphorus, the 16th, 14th, and 15th element. Then we're going to measure it using the atomic weights. Look at the number it comes out to when you add all these atomic weights up. Then 91.11. Could be the 911 in there. Could even be the 1.11 because the 9 and the 1 adds up. You don't reduce the number 11 down. You could be the 1.2, which again would match up with the swastika. The LLLL, or the swastika 21, 12 being the mirror of the 21. Rather interesting right there. What about the address of this base on Coronado? 3632 Tulaga Road, Coronado. Look at the numbers that it comes out with in these ciphers, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it would be just significant enough just to show you the 99. 99 is the Tetragrammaton's heart chakra, by the way. But let's just go a little bit further, because some of you like to use these other ciphers. English ordinal equals the number 216, which is the divine triangle, and I'm going to get into that because that is massive in all of this. And then, of course, let's not forget the 117. I just showed the 117 right there, right there. It's tied to the 66, which means it's tied to the current Pope and Donald John Trump. It's right there, 117. Now, you got to ask yourself, did they choose this address on purpose? I don't know. I mean, I think you'd have to go to great lengths to do that. I think there's some divine aspects behind all of this. But let's investigate the 216 because this is huge when it comes to all of this. And what is the divine triangle? Well, it's right there. This is a picture of the White House. Notice the 4 pillars right there in the very front. I know there's ones in the back, but the 4 support that. But then you have the divine triangle. There it is right there. It's been there in the White House for a very, very long time because the White House knows what's going on with sacred geometry. And here is the divine triangle, and it's right there. And, you know, the interesting part is when we measure that using the digits of pi, the numeric string 216 appears at the 991st decimal place. When we measure that using alchemy, we end up getting fluorine twice and 1 hydrogen. We measure that out in its most balanced format, 18.99 plus 18.99 plus 1.0. We get the number 38.98, which we could easily say that's an 11.8 when we reduce down, which has significance. That's related to the element tin because the 50th element has an atomic weight of 118, which is related to Jupiter. But I think this is more significant here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. When you divide the two together, I'm finding a lot of research when you divide. This little thing or this little decimal means division between those two numbers. When you divide them into one another, 38 divided by 98. Look at the number that we end up getting, the first 4 digits. 0.3877 completely blew me away because I knew the numbers very well. That's the coordinates, the latitude, longitude of Washington, D.C. It sits at 38 degrees north and 77 degrees west. And that's the divine triangle, and that sits right on top of the White House, is it not? Really, 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 really fascinating. So what do you see in all of this? What do you see? Do you see the things that I see? You know, the divine triangle, 38 divided by 98 equals 38.77 or 0.3877. There's the divine triangle on the White House. There's the 216 with the address of the Naval Amphibious Base. There's the phone number. Look at these numbers and outcomes. Are you kidding me? The 96, the 69, the 66, the 117. Look at those direct hits, 117. Then you have Operation Paperclip. Is this the very reason why this building sits? Now, I know it was built in the 60s, but, you know, is this the very reason why? Does it have any tie-ins to Operation Paperclip? I don't know. What do you see? But I know for sure that the swastika is related to the number 96, the 26. You know, I know it's related to that for sure. These are hits here. These are direct hits, as they call them. That's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decoded Reality. Thanks for watching.